Hey everybody, Texas Trucker here, Lance at Performance Shop at Mopars.com. It is a hot Sunday night, Father's Day here, still 90 degrees in this shop. A little humid as well, but we just did a Zorro tool haul, and then I proceeded to spend about double the length of time on the tool haul as I did taking the adhesive labels off of our breaker bars and then building the spring steel rail, which I, believe it or not, had to use a halter mallet to strike those down onto. So cannot upgrade that soon enough. That one also going to be an issue. But something that's not going to be an issue is what we're going to take a look at here. This is another Mac tool haul. Very excited about this one for reasons you will soon understand. We'll just go ahead and hit both items for one reason, and I've got to tell you, Mac and Snap-on, we've been having some issues, right? Shipping, particularly Snap-on. This Mac was exquisitely done by these high standards we apply. First item, right here, you've got a screwdriver, as you might have guessed, individually bagged, sealed. The other item that you're going to see later in this video, also individually bagged. Amazing. And it's even better than that. The UPS box that it came in had packing. This is really good. I don't know if Snap-on can top this one. But what we have here is kind of an item of interest for me. It is Mac's part number PB2042P. If any of you are familiar with Mac part numbers, you probably recognize a few series of digits in there, and you might think that this is our number 2 Phillips by 4-inch. You'd be correct if you're sitting there and you're thinking like, huh, what's that P at the end for? You usually have like O or G for orange and green. What's P? Well, if it couldn't convey through the bag, which does a decent job masking it, this is in fact purple. I was excited about this for the simple fact it's just new and different. Awkward pause there, as I'll probably clip out as I'm looking for these. And, this is Mac's newest screwdriver as far as I know. I'm not exactly sure when the transition from US made to French made happened. We've kind of covered that in the previous ones. This, I'm not even going to handle too much. I was extremely excited about because the buzz around these was when they were new, which wasn't that long ago, but they were just something people saw on a flyer or the website. And the chatter on forums was that these might have been made by Oplast. And if you think, what is that? I have no idea what foreign language you're speaking. Well, think Slovenia. Very, very, very high quality screwdrivers, budget priced, and you might best know them from Hazet drivers, right? And that's why those are made in Slovenia. I've been quite happy with those I picked up, and when I was like, whoa, hey, if Mac got rid of maybe, what did I do with them? 1 second. This driver, you know, which was like their Taiwan-based one, and kind of went to Oplast in Slovenia, I'm like, that's an upgrade, and this could potentially be better than these drivers now, right? We kind of covered these ad nauseum last time. The OGs kind of have the Proto Duratech, right? This is very hard. If I take this one, okay, which is going to be soft. Now this is like OG Proto Duratech. Hard, right? Same thing here, the green one. Hard. These are US made. And you're like, no, they're not. I have some just like them. Well, these are a little old, right? We never made like a dedicated video for these two, although they've started to appear frequently. Both shafts, if you look closely right here, you're going to see USA. Okay, the G and the O at the end, very again similar part number there as the purple guy. So these are my longest tenured Mac drivers. They were actually brought in right when I was really mad at Klein, and we wound up going, you know, with KC Tool and VHA for the first time. This was like, okay, hey, I'm gonna go that route. And, then here recently I brought in the Proto, which had this interesting tag on it, finished in the USA, but made in France, and this is soft. I did not know the Proto Duratech handle was available with a soft finish. I actually really liked the feel of this, which is why we then came in and we got this, because I was like, I've got to check this out, soft finish Mac, and see what's going on. So it's still kind of hard to keep tabs on with what's going on and what's the most recent development with Mac. They don't really clearly state it. For the longest time you had the Mac grip and a soft grip, and now it seems like the Mac grip is a soft grip. and I don't know if you can even get the hard handle. Some of you chime in and, you know, kind of have like the same thoughts, and then someone contradicts that. That also seems credible and viable, and so I don't really know. What I know is when I talked to the Mac guy and I was trying to ascertain a soft grip, he said those are virtually impossible for me to get. Granted, this was like last fall. He knew I was looking for it. He never came back around. They finally showed up on the website. The website, when something's out of stock on Mac, is very dicey. Sometimes without the exact part number, you can't even pull it up unless you mine almost to the last page and dive into an entire product listing. But as best I know, you can get some semblance of this at Mac. I kind of think as a soft grip, maybe it's what they're going to. Maybe they're still going to have the hard grip for whatever reason. Now it seems like the hard grip is what's hard to find. It used to be the soft. What are they going to dub the Mac grip? Does it apply to both of them now? I don't know. I don't think my dealer would know, quite frankly. I just know I'm happy I have the 2 old school USA. I really do like these. These are like impervious to almost everything. The soft, I think, is almost as good somehow. The Protos, they do have a hard handle still that's like solid red. I don't know that you can get the OG Proto Duratex in this configuration either. It might all be soft now. That's developing. Again, if some of you have information, check the comments and see if you contradict with someone else. I don't know the official narrative, right? I just know that these were made in Taiwan, and not terrible. Again, I kind of know these from Graveyard Cars. One of the former techs that they had on camera quite a bit seemed to have these drivers, and they're sort of getting harder to find, again, as best I can tell. So that brings us up to speed on what we've done, and now we dive into this. These are the new Hotness from Mac, right? That's officially new, okay? If I had to guess, I would say that the Mac grip, whether that's soft or hard or just consolidated to soft, or the hard's going to show up again and cycle, you're going to have that as a staple. It's likely going to remain made in France, finished in America. I don't know the exact split there. I also had someone I should mention in the previous video say that these Macs, and I did check this out, I went and dug through some old forum threads. You see how short that bolster is and how it was SAE versus metric and whatnot? They said this looks just like his Stanley 100s. The Stanley 100s had a very big cult following. They still have a very large following. And he said it looks like it came off the same dies. That is very possible, as those were made in America. I want to say with all that going on, then this was kind of like their gateway, right? This, you're not going to pay for the American made or the top of the line, wherever it may be sourced from now. This was sort of your half to 3/4, 3/5 price option. Not terrible. Obviously, we haven't used this. Kind of a tri-lobe design. Again, you will have people that love that, and you will alienate people with that. People will say those are terrible. Take my money. I want that driver. I like the handle better. So that's where you're at. Now, this, again, I was sitting there and thinking, oh, dude, if this is Oplast from Mac, I have seen multiple times over the year, geez, time flies, maybe it's been longer than that. These are in foam trays. Now, the purple is much newer, but standard red, green, and orange, they've had some deals on BOGO. They've had some like super combination discounted price things. There were multiple times I should have had a foam tray. I was even going to get red and just have it at work. And currently for Father's Day sale, which will still be available a week or so past, you can get a 6-piece set of this style of driver for basically $99, all right? They kind of give them away sometimes they're around that price. Foam tray plus 6 drivers. It's not an 8-piece, 10-piece, 12-piece, 6-piece set, basic drivers, foam tray, which looks nicely done, $99, $100, give or take, right? I'm not going to go that route now because I've been so burned trying to make that happen in the past. You kind of save money when you consider this was $20. And if we put each driver at $20, give or take, 6 drivers at $20, you're at $120, and then you have a foam tray, which we could easily stick 20 to 30 on. You do the math, we're at $150 versus $100. It's a better value. Now, that said, do you like these, right? I didn't get on the truck, feel them out with the driver, say, you know what, I want to get the set. I'm just rolling the dice here. So, part number is going to I don't know that it is stamped here, or laser etched I should say. That just tells you it's a Phillips 2x4, and there's nothing on the other side. I'm going to spin this up to save some time. I'm sorry, there is. It's very hard to see. I've got the screen door up as well, so I've got that in the light. But there's your long part number that I covered at the start, PB2042P. Conveniently for you there, they've got the Phillips number 2x4". You've got the Hex bolster. They seem content with that. You've got what is hopefully a black vapor tip. You've got this. I have to say, the purple handle looks pretty sick. Now, the first introduction of this, I believe, was through their relabels from Mayhew. You can get their some of their, not all of them, but some of them, Mayhew pry bars in purple through Mac, and you've got these. I keep hoping they expand, not just purple, but orange and green to other things like ratchets. They don't do that. If you want a ratchet with a comfort handle, you get red and black. If you don't want red and black, you get bare metal. Those are your two choices. So the fact that they're finally starting to add the colors elsewhere than just screwdrivers is a positive. I just don't know what their plans are in the broader scope of things. But I gotta say, this looks pretty good. This, unlike the green one, is not a tri-lobe. Also, unfortunately, there's not going to be a country of origin here, and the bag will tell us what we don't want to hear. All that speculation, which by the way was never followed up on, at least with what I was reading. I'm sure someone did, but bottom line tells you what you needed to see or didn't want to know. Made in Taiwan. Nothing wrong with that. Taiwanese can crank out some good tools. I do think 19's a little spendy even for a tool truck. I said the same thing with, well, I don't know if I can talk about it. Another high-end tool truck, Value Line, which was made in a European country that was not Germany or Slovenia or the Czech Republic. And it might be farther to the west. I'll just leave it at that. Again, if we can get me to 10,000 subscribers, folks, I assure you I have a bevy of things coming your way for you to enjoy that have already been brought in, recorded, and uploaded. So, nonetheless, I set goals, and I said 10K. I guess I have to abide by that. We're going to face that decision here shortly, too. That's just lint. Okay, very strange lint, but lint. This is a... I don't want to say it's excessively soft, but it's got a really good feel to it. You got Mac Tools ghosted there, you got Mac Tools ghosted there, you've got Mac Tools with purple coming through. So it looks like we're going to have three sections there. You've got this serration, if you will, right there. You've got the opposite direction, kind of these landing pads. Again, not quite tri-lobe, not completely round. You've got pretty solid spin zone here. It's not cumbersome in the hand. It's not near as bulky as this one. And the purple does kind of grow on you. Again, you rarely see purple. You know, I guess Matco does that. Again, that's one of the things I can say positive about Matco is their color selections. And past that, not much, but hey, I am fair. So I have to say, I do kind of like this in hand. It's not my favorite. It's not the most. I'd prefer a slightly narrower spin zone and a slightly narrower handle area. It's a little cumbersome to spin, but it's not the worst we've ever had. I would still rank the Mac grip, whether that's US, French, or what have you, higher on the preference scale. I'd actually put this ahead of this. I think if you've got stubborn stuff, like if you had a number 3 Phillips and you're breaking rotor screws with these, you might like the tri-lobe for the torque you need to either tighten it back or break it free. All in all, just a generic driver, I kind of think this might be the better option versus this one. So I could easily see, especially again, like I said, you're either a tri-lobe person or you're not. This one is a bit disproportioned. I feel like they got the spin zone good, but it's just too bulbous back here. And that creates kind of the cumbersome, you know, where it's slapping your palm instead of just spinning freely. Vit dials them in quite nicely. If I grab the T25 here, again, unmistakable tri-lobe, but it's sized down. And I mean, we can spin this even with the friction material significantly quicker. Now, Vit does size theirs by drive-in, so like a T40 is going to be bigger than the T25, which is bigger than a T10. I kind of think these are uniform, but I also, without knowing for sure, think those are going away. I could be wrong. Again, if you haven't noticed, it's quite difficult to deduce what exactly Mac or Stanley is doing with their litany of brands and their massive umbrellas, whether they're shining over here and raining on this end or what. I just kind of know what I can see at the time, and you know what the driver or some of you tell me. So my favorite by far out of the Macs we have are the US made ones. The Proto, I was very happy with the soft. That's why we brought this in. This one, I should say. I do wish it was the US shaft and the US bolster. I prefer the shorter bolster. This is kind of a hybrid. It's not as short as the US. It's also not as tall as these French-made ones. So again, that would, I guess, be US versus Taiwan versus France in terms of the styling. I would almost bet that this is an 8mm coming out of Taiwan. We'll check that shortly. I don't have a wrench handy. But I want to know, just aesthetically, which one do you prefer and why? If you've used or handled all three, maybe you've been on the truck and you're like, oh, these are terrible. Or, man, I'm excited about these. And then you got them and you're like, oh, these suck. What's your favorite and why? Help some people out here because, again, the options, while they're all currently available in some semblance of form, this is readily available standalone or in foam. Some French-made soft or hard, depending on, I guess, the manufacturing cycles, should be somewhat available. The Proto kind of goes in and out. The US-made ones seem to be bygone. What, with the current state of things, would you say people should pick up? That's kind of where we'll leave that right there. We're at about 17 minutes. I don't know that we want to tie in the next item. I think we might do a standalone on it as well. I didn't intend to do this, but that's the way it kind of panned out. So what I'm going to do is shut up, get a wrench, check this, and we'll wrap this one up. All right, I don't know how we got shifted over there. I must have the camera spun, but 5/16 almost fits better, and I say almost because the 8, as we guessed, is just slightly better. Box end here has a bit of play, but when you get it to the 12-point end over here, I should say open end had play, the box end has a smidge of play, but I would assume, again, coming out of Taiwan, that's what they would want. If you only have SAE, your 5/16 will work, as will pliers, wrench, pliers, or anything crescent wrench style that you can wrap around these things. That's it. I gotta tell you, I do think I would, ignoring color, of course, right? Like, this is a pretty nice green. It's not a sublime green. This is purple. We don't have any much purple anywhere in terms of tools to compare this to. So if you maybe, heck, you've got a Plum Crazy car, you know, be that a late model Challenger, maybe you got, you know, like a Dart, a Cuda, something sitting back at home. If you've got anything in that lineup, you should be happy. This is something that you can kind of tie in. Again, Plum Crazy in violet, modern colors, custom colors, anything. If purple's just your color, which again, there would be people out there, and it's quite underrepresented in tools. Amazingly, blue is as well. I don't know how that continues to happen, but you typically have your standard company colors, which are oftentimes red and black, red some degree thereof, and then your accessory colors, if they do them, orange and green. Maybe they go a high vis for just max visibility, people that lose stuff all the time or work in dark areas. Purple's kind of a new one, so again, credit Matco there for sort of actually making that happen. And then Mac, I guess for whatever reason, wanted to follow suit there. Maybe they went purple before blue because they think, oh, blue is Cornwell, blue is Channel Lock. Again, there's lots of shades of blue. But to their credit, they've got purple, and it's a welcome addition. You know, I realize not for everyone. You're probably going to like it. There's a few people that will love it. There's some people that are like, oh, that's cool, but I'm still going to get green. Others of you like, yeah, purple, and well, this is great. You know, I can do my Phillips, or, you know, my 3/8 in orange, or my quarter in purple. You know, somewhere someone will make good use of this. But that's about all I got for you. So again, little $19 50-cent screwdriver. If you have this in the foam set, you probably picked it up a while back, or maybe on one of the BOGO deals, 6-piece set. What are you thinking of them? How do you like them? Maybe it was just you got a wrench deal or a ratchet or some combination, and that was just kind of thrown in, or it was at a price you couldn't really say no to, and they're your beaters. Maybe some of you entered with that thought, and you're like, you know what, I actually like this better than what I've got. Whatever your story, feel free to share it, because again, the end goal is simply to help people out. But that's what I got for you. Just a little purple driver. The second item, which was also individually bagged, we're going to showcase next. I am very excited about it, so you'll definitely want to check it out. But with that said, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts here. If you enjoyed, leave a like. Again, leave your comments down below. If you want to see what the next item is, or what progression we find with these Mac drivers, or if they add another one, or we get some clarity ever, I encourage you to subscribe. If you do that, you grab your Mac purple number 2 Phillips in your hand while you swing it out the window, while you jump your charger across the creek. YouTube just might let you know we got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. I'm going to go ahead and swing all these down over here for the OCD crowd, get a thumbnail, and then we're going to take a look at the money items. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more from the shop.